Hey guys, what's up? We're back at 10 Ounce Fight Club, and we got special guest One Cerveza Please joining us today. It's going to be a good episode. We got a lot of topics to cover.
Yes, sir. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me back.
So yeah, we this week we got blessed with the highly anticipated return of the Ultimate Fighter. Big season, big coaches. What do we think so far?
TUF never dies.
Yeah, for sure.
Would you say this is the biggest season, like, ever?
I think recently it's probably one of the biggest seasons they've done. I enjoyed the Ortega Volkanovski.
When was that, 21?
I think so. It was during COVID. It was like the COVID season, but yeah, this is a good return. McGregor, Michael Chandler, it's, two great minds of the sport, and it's going to be a big fight when those guys clash for sure. But let's talk about, I think some of us, we watched like the first episode. So what do we think so far of kind of the vibes of the coaches and stuff like that? And how do you think the competition is going to go down?
Honestly, I think it's going to be great. I think both of these guys love to talk, so it's going to make for a lot of fun, all that trash talk between these guys. I thought Michael Chandler, at least the way it was edited in the first episode, maybe that's just how he's going to be all season. I don't know. He was awfully friendly.
Yeah.
But Connor, and if you guys watched the Connor versus Faber season, I don't know if you guys watched that one.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Connor's going to pick at you and pick at you and pick at you as the season goes on, and so, I'm sure things will get heated at some point. We've seen the push and the highlights and stuff like that. But especially with the way that fight ended in episode 1 with that really quick knockout for the team. Let's call it team prospects. Team veterans.
Yep.
Chandler's veterans. So I think we're going to see more of that. I'm really excited to see Brad Katona and Jason Knight in there for the veterans. I think it's going to be a fun season. And as far as coaches go, I think this is the biggest season we've had in a very, very long time.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, this season of TUF, it's going to be prospects, so people that are, haven't been in the UFC trying to get in, versus veterans who have, kind of fell on bad luck, got cut, and they're trying to make their, second comeback and stuff like that. So it's really interesting dynamic. I don't think they've ever done something like this before. It brings like a lot of like good energy to it, makes it super competitive because you have these old dogs, people that have been in the UFC, really want to get back in. We saw with Roosevelt Roberts in the first episode, he really wanted to get back in. Got a first round knockout, I think it was in 8 seconds, one of the fastest knockouts in TUF history. Put his guy out and got a good win for Chandler so far. But yeah, so.
Yes, sir. Lucio, what did you think about that fight?
I think he listened to his coach, right? He said, get in there and you just go balls to the wall and finish him. And I think that's exactly what he went out and did. But real quick, rewinding just for a second. Connor has been on The Ultimate Fighter before?
Yes, sir. Back in the day, I think it was right after he beat Mendez for the interim title, moving up for, I think Aldo was still injured, and so they needed to keep Connor busy. And TUF was a great way to keep him busy without losing any star power. And they threw him on there with Uriah Faber. Mm-hmm. And so it was fun because Uriah Faber is the head coach at Team Alpha Male. And Chad Mendez, who had just lost to Connor, trains at Team Alpha Male. So Faber was in that corner training that fighter. And so it just kind of made for a lot of fun trash talk on the show. And then, Connor to being Connor. I mean, this was 145-pound Connor. The man was a legend back then, Mystic Mac. So that was the Artem Lobov season, if I believe. I think Connor's fighters did end up getting the better of Team Faber's fighters for the most part.
Yeah, I believe so, too. Yeah. You have some iconic moments from that season, too.
Did we get Ryan Hall that season? No.
I think
No. Not that far back, I don't think.
But yeah, there's a bunch of iconic moments from that season with Cody Garbrandt getting into a little scuffle with Conor McGregor.
I'll do something right now.
Yeah. So, Cody had a lot of good moments on that. McGregor was kind of on point with the, roasting people.
And that's not a diss. I love no love.
Yeah. That was a good season.
No, but what did you think about that? I know you were just wanting to get me. I went on a tangent.
What I thought about that individual fight, I think Chandler's guy just did exactly what he was supposed to do, and McGregor's guy gave me McGregor vibes, kind of holding back, kind of taking too long, recent McGregor, and he needs to learn from his coach's mistakes and just fucking go out there, you know what I mean? It's unfortunate, when's the last time Conor McGregor won?
It's been a minute. 2020 with Donald Cerrone. Since he's won.
And so you're coming in there, your coach hasn't won in 3 years. You're gonna have some doubt even in yourself. And I think I saw that in the ring. Yeah. I don't know.
No, you might be on something there. So real quick before we move on, give me you guys' picks team for team. Are you guys taking team veterans, Chandler's veterans, get the majority of the wins, or are you going team prospects?
I think veterans, dude, because I think just, we've kind of touched over some of the names, and that opportunity to get back into the UFC, they had it. They achieved the pinnacle of like what you're supposed to achieve in MMA, getting into the UFC. They lost it. So I think that they have a little bit more desire maybe than the prospects, but you never know.
Well, and there's no substitute for experience, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure.
What about you?
I think the veterans are gonna dominate the season. Fuck. That's my guess because I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to ride with you guys. I am Team Chandler, Team Veterans here. Not only do I think that veteran experience is going to pay off big, and not to say that the prospects don't have their own experience, moving through the circuits, but again, that professional UFC experience, knowing what it takes to climb the mountain and stay on the mountain, although they did get knocked off, they, I think most of those guys, even Roosevelt Roberts, definitely showed us they have what it takes to make the climb again.
Yeah, definitely.
And then I believe Chandler put a better team of coaches together.
Yeah.
Especially having somebody like a winner, like Ryan Bader on the show.
Yeah, definitely. And Bader is a great addition to his team, someone who's been battle tested, in Bellator and in the UFC. Yeah. And, for some reason, like, I think just with McGregor, he has all this money and stuff like that. I think having time to like be a coach might not be available this season. It's just because he's busy and stuff. Yeah. He has a lot of other obligations outside of, coaching and stuff. But hopefully, we get to see some of those like sincere moments, see those one-on-one, practices and stuff like that. But yeah.
Here is where I'm actually unfortunately going to have to disagree with you, my friend. I actually thought Conor looked like he really, really cared about his fighters, and he was trying to get in there with them. When he had them spar on the first day when they had to grade their teams, I thought that was that's the best way to do it.
Okay.
Just have them do some hard sparring, short rounds. And he was even getting in there and mixing it up with them. And it looks like we're going to see, I saw, at least from what the trailers were showing us, that he's going to be in there mixing it up with those guys. And I think that's fantastic. I think that's, a great thing to do. And I'm not saying Chandler's not an attentive coach and he's not getting there with his guys. I'm just saying I think Conor is actually doing a great job of being in there with the fighters.
I mean, I think Conor's like 100% dedicating himself to these guys, right? I mean, that's the plan. It's, they're in Vegas, but I don't think Conor's like, oh, I'm just training, filming for 6 hours a day, and then he's off to the clubs. I mean, he's not, a 29-year-old Conor anymore or whatever,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my thought, but maybe you're right.
And I mean, same thing. Like I'll see, as the season goes on, it's just we're on the first episode, so
yes, sir.
We'll get some more of those opportunities to see those like one-on-one moments with coaches and fighters and stuff like that. But yeah, going to the big discussion is, it's kind of up in the air about what with the coaches fighting, what weight it's going to be at. But these two guys are going to throw down
170,
170, yeah,
welterweight.
Yeah, but these guys are going to throw down. Sounds like end of this year, maybe November, December time. But yeah, what do we got kind of prediction wise on the coaches?
Oh, I'm taking McGregor. At 170, I'm taking McGregor.
Okay.
Even at 155, I'm still taking McGregor.
Sure.
I think this man needs the win. I thought he was actually doing well in the third Poirier fight before it wasn't. Before he was, you know what I mean?
3 times.
But yeah, I thought he was doing very well in that first round, and then we all saw what happened.
Yeah.
Is it confirmed the weight class?
No, not yet, but I'm almost positive it's going to be 170.
Yeah, probably.
What's the weight class under that?
155.
There's nothing in between?
No.
Jeez.
And they're definitely not doing 145, and I just don't see them doing 185.
Who's the 155 champ right now? Is that
Islam?
Makhachev, yeah.
Yeah, there's no it's going to be 170. Even at 170, I think Conor's going to tear through Chandler. He's going to lose the season of the Ultimate Fighter, but I think he's going to redeem himself on that main event whenever that comes up in November or something.
Yeah, I'm saying round 2 knockout. If Charles can do it, Conor can do it.
Yeah, I think I'm sticking with Conor too on this one, man.
And that's no dig at Chandler.
No dig at Chandler, even though he knocked out my boy Tony Ferguson savagely. There's no beef on that one, but
we'll get him.
But no, I think just Conor, he has a lot of ways to exploit Chandler in this fight, and I think McGregor can get it done. Round 1, maybe. So
what happens if if Chandler wins Ultimate Fighter and Chandler knocks fucking McGregor out, what's next for fucking McGregor?
I don't know, man.
I think that a lot of evaluating needs to be done.
Yeah.
I think that might be the only scenario where we could make an argument for Conor McGregor versus Jake Paul in a boxing match.
That's exactly where I was going.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say exhibition boxing because, fuck, man. If McGregor loses both of these, right, like Dana White's spoon-feeding him all these opportunities to keep him warm, throwing him, people that aren't the best in the ring that maybe are past their prime, now giving him the Ultimate Fighter and giving him a chance to just concentrate and focus on his game. And maybe he's distracted, who knows, behind the scenes, and then he goes out there and he loses Ultimate Fighter. He gets knocked out round 1 of, the face-off between Chandler. Like, he has to, like you said, go back to the drawing board. I think everyone does. Dana White, UFC, himself, shit, maybe even his wife.
Well, okay, so
I'm kidding.
I've thought about it. I know I said Jake Paul, but I've actually thought about it. I'm trying to think. Conor in the UFC, a couple fights he could do. Should he lose to Michael Chandler? But real quick, let's get Eliah's opinion. What do you think happens if Conor loses to Chandler?
Man, yeah, I think kind of on board with what you're saying, James, with just reevaluating the career. He's already, made it. I don't think that there's much to prove left for him in the octagon. He already has a great legacy. If he could maybe secure a third belt, like he sounds like he wants to with welterweight, maybe, that'd be cool to see. But yeah, it's a tough spot to be, if he were to lose this next fight, but we'll see. So
yeah, should Conor lose, I can only see fights for fun for him, but I don't think he can take any of those dog fights. Like, I don't think you could see him fight Kamaru. I don't think you could see him go down to 55 and fight Poirier again. I don't think he'd fight Makachev, Volkanovski. I don't even think Max Holloway would be a viable option if he gets knocked out again. I would say although all of those fights would be fun, I would say should Conor get knocked out, the only 3 fights I would want for him are Jorge Masvidal, the Nate Diaz trilogy, or catch me out of left right here, Jose Aldo in boxing.
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah.
That would sell. That fight would sell.
Yeah, I think so.
A rematch with Jose Aldo in boxing. Should he win or lose, that fight would sell.
Yeah. It's crazy how on top Aldo was, and then when McGregor knocked him out, like, Aldo didn't get the rematch at all.
Dude, and then he beat Frankie. So this is I know I'm going to go off on a little tangent right here. So Aldo gets knocked out by Conor in 13 seconds after that world tour, after everything, after getting injured, pulling out. Conor's the interim champ, everything, right? Jose Aldo just had to sit there and watch Conor take all of his momentum.
He held him back a lot. Like, damn, Conor was Aldo's fucking kryptonite.
So it gets worse. Then Aldo goes on to beat Frankie Edgar for the interim title because Conor ended up chasing the lightweight title. Dos Anjos broke his foot. Then he fought Nate Diaz twice. Yep. Then he beat Albert. It was a whole mess, right? So then Aldo fights Frankie Edgar, wins the interim title. Conor goes on to box Floyd Mayweather, so they're like, okay, we'll just make Jose Aldo the champion. Then Jose Aldo had some inactivity. So Max Holloway, who was on a streak, they said, okay, you fight Anthony Pettis, win the interim belt. So then they had Max Holloway fight Jose Aldo to unify the belts. Jose Aldo gets TKO'd twice, back-to-back, once in Brazil, once in, where were they, Canada in the second one?
I think so, something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So then he gets TKO'd back-to-back by Max Holloway. After that, that's when Aldo went on his skid. And then he suffered a pretty hefty beating from Volkanovski in a 5-round fight, and that was it. Then it was down to 135 for Aldo.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you see a lot of that stuff happening to Conor, the last few years. Being on top of the world to just Dana White's spoon feeding, like I said, Conor, but like I haven't seen that same treatment for Aldo.
Yeah.
Has Aldo been a coach in the Ultimate Fighter?
No. I don't think so.
Maybe he'll be a coach next. Maybe Brazil versus USA again or something.
Yeah, and this, I love Jose Aldo, and he actually did have a resurgence in 135, and then, he just time catches us all.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Well, I know that one big thing we've been talking about recently, it's kind of been the headlines too, we've seen is Volkanovski in his prime versus Conor McGregor in his prime. You know, we were talking about, you know, top tier, you know, featherweights. We were talking about Jose Aldo. But right now we got Volkanovski at the helm. And then, you know, going back, it was Conor McGregor. So how do you think that these guys would have faced off, you know, if they were both in their prime time and ready to rock?
You tell us first.
You tell, oh, man.
I'll start us off.
Yeah,
I just went on a featherweight tangent. Let me keep going here. So, you know, that was when I was really, really locked into the UFC because we had all those fights on Fox Sports. It was finally on cable, so it was really easy to follow, you know. And that's when they really started trying to do fights every weekend or every other weekend or at least twice a month, you know. So, yeah, it was fantastic. But anyway, before I get too far off topic here, 145 Conor was something to behold. I mean, that's really where he built his superstardom. It wasn't at lightweight. It wasn't at welterweight. You know, he's only got one win as a lightweight and one win as a welterweight. Featherweight is where Conor did all of his work. And he worked, man. He worked. Jose Aldo was unstoppable. The King of Rio, Jose Aldo, I mean, nobody could beat him. I mean, he was at that point where he was rematching people.
Yeah, I got a list here of some notable wins from McGregor when he was in featherweight. I mean, you got Max Holloway, Dustin Poirier, Chad Mendes, Jose Aldo. I mean, these are some big names and fighters that have come to, you know, be big names and stuff like that.
And this was a different time. A lot of those fighters that he beat were big at the time. Marcus Brimage, Dennis Seaver, you know. So, and he was finishing all of those people. The only one of those people he didn't finish was Max Holloway.
Yeah. But yeah, and then on Volkanovski's side, I mean, you know, we've, you know, seen a couple of the Max Holloway fights. We have his, you know, win over Korean Zombie, but still, even when he was making his title run in the UFC, he's had a lot of good opponents. He's fought Darren Elkins, which is a, you know, tough fight. Chad Mendes and Jose Aldo. So,
and Chad Mendes is the only really, I mean, power puncher that he fought in all of those fights. And you saw, I mean, if you go back and watch that fight, there was moments where you thought Volkanovski was going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Mendes had him in trouble.
Yeah, he's got some pop.
And so I'm saying 145 Conor with the reach that he had, the accuracy that I mean, I'm just telling you, 145 Conor was a warrior. He was a different person. When he was that hungry, when he didn't have the money, when he was on the way up, 145 Conor smokes Volkanovski, in my opinion.
Food stamp Conor. I remember another fighter dissed on him for that. He's like, you were living at your mom's collecting like unemployment, and he's like, he had to do what he had to do.
It was Eddie Alvarez.
So he could fucking train, right? Like, so he can dedicate his whole life to training, and I think it all paid off. I think, so you're saying Conor defeats Volk easy.
I'm saying he knocks him out in the second or third round.
I think Conor takes out Prime Conor versus Prime Volk first round, like knockout, in a similar fashion like Aldo. That's my prediction. I don't know.
And I'll be the one to be the devil's advocate. I think, you know, with Volkanovski and his timing and stuff like that, I mean, you know, Conor has that, you know, the power and stuff like that, and he does have really good boxing as well. But I think Volkanovski's like slips and feints. I think he's very hard to hit clean. There's been a couple times where he has been, but I think maybe Volkanovski, but
if Islam can rock Volkanovski, 145 Conor is sleeping.
Probably.
What's the reach advantage on Conor against Volk? Like,
it's honestly, Volk has
incredible.
a pretty big reach for how short he is, so that's actually probably pretty even.
Yes,
but height plays a factor.
Yeah.
And Conor was a kicker too. I mean, Conor did it all back then, but that left hand was money at 145.
Yeah, we got Conor at 5'8", and then we have Volk at 5'6". So,
what's the reach?
I don't have reach on here, but I like you said, I think it would probably be pretty close because Volkanovski does have a pretty good reach on him. But
they're the same age, 34 both.
Yeah, I wish it was a fight they could make happen now, but I mean, Conor's so big. It's just,
and that's the crazy thing too, because you got to take like 29-year-old Conor McGregor and have him fight 32-year-old Volkanovski.
I think so, yeah. Because that's crazy with McGregor is like how young he was into that streak, man, and what he was able to do. What he was able to put together at that age was incredible for sure.
And I will give you, when Chad Mendes did take Conor down, Conor was in a lot of trouble on the ground, and if Volkanovski could get him down early and wrestle him out. But if it stays on the feet, I'm taking 145 Connor.
For sure. So we got Connor, Volk, pretty much. So yeah, going into some upcoming fights. So we got Nunes versus Aldana. It's going to be an interesting matchup. Kind of made on short notice because Juliana Pena suffered a injury. So Aldana was scheduled to fight someone else, I believe.
She was. I can't remember who she was scheduled to fight, but
UFC rescheduled it, so she's fighting for the title now.
God, I'm drawing a blank. I was there when Aldana knocked out with the up kick to the body. It was like an up liver kick.
It wasn't Chukagian. She's at a different weight. She's at flyweight.
No. She's blonde hair but short.
Oh man,
I'm not gonna remember right now. I'm drawing a blank, but you know what? No.
Yeah, no. I think this is a great opportunity for Aldana, and her boxing is so crisp, man. I mean, her boxing is on point. She has a couple knockouts.
She was scheduled to fight Pennington.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, she has a couple of nice knockouts on her record as well. We had that up kick.
Macy Chiason.
Yep,
Chiason,
Macy, yeah. She had that up kick to the liver of Macy, and then
Yana Santos, round 1. Was that what, round 1 TKO?
And I remember we actually watched at the Covington Usman card. She actually knocked out her opponent.
Oh, yeah.
There and knocked her out bad.
Ketlin Vieira.
Yep, yeah.
Round 1, like right at the end of round 1.
Yep. And yeah, Aldana's boxing is no joke, and
Mexican boxing, bro.
Yeah, and I think she brings good pressure to the game.
Yeah, but Amanda Nunes hits like a fucking truck.
Yep. And she has really good grappling as well too to back her up. So if she's ever in trouble, she can just shoot. And so it's going to be a good matchup. I'm excited for this one.
Mexico is rolling this year.
Oh yeah. Yair.
If Aldana wins, if Aldana pulls off the upset, I'm betting all my money on Moreno and Yair for July.
Yeah. Yeah, you got Moreno, Yair. Oh my gosh, what's her name? I can't remember. Why am I skipping out on Alexa Grasso? I mean, dude, like we talked about it. Like going to Mexico would be so huge.
It's the year of Mexican upsets.
If they could do a
We're
full
definitely
card.
going to Mexico in November.
My
I'm
prediction
going to go train at some gyms.
is still UFC 300 is going to be in Mexico City. That's my prediction.
Yeah.
He's not off. I mean, that's doable.
It could be done.
In Azteca, sold out, bro.
Oh,
I think
Azteca, dude. Oh my god.
I think you could with all those champs, man.
Chills.
And yeah.
I mean, I'd go. We'd go. We'd have to go.
You do a 4-champion card. All Mexican champions.
Dude,
Yair, Moreno, Nunes. Who headlines? Grasso. Who headlines?
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a great...
Grasso versus Moreno. Just kidding.
Yeah, the last time they've been to Mexico has been like a couple years ago, and they haven't been,
Even Dana's been saying we fucked up by not going back to Mexico.
Yeah, so...
If UFC 300 isn't in Vegas, it's going to be in Mexico City.
Yeah, if they could bring up...
It's going to be in Azteca.
Yeah, a fat one in Azteca, dude, with a 4-card championship. Man, that'd be amazing.
All right, but let's not get too far off topic here. Who do you got, Nunes or Aldana?
Dude, I think I'm gonna ride with the rise of the Mexican champions. I think I'm gonna roll with Aldana. I think her pressure and her boxing is so crisp, and the pressure that Nunes kind of got faced with Pena, but she was kind of off in that fight. But I think the pressure that Aldana can bring to this fight, it's nothing like Nunes has seen. It's just if she's smart with it, evades, with the head movement and stuff like that, because she cannot get cracked by Nunes. Because, Nunes hits like a truck, man.
Yeah, you cannot get hit clean by that woman.
Not
by the lioness.
Yeah, so what do you think, James?
I'm right there with you, man. I am going to ride the Mexican tide all summer like we've been talking about. That's what I'm going with. I'm going to take Arena Aldana to get the upset, although I do love Amanda Nunes. Yeah. And if the lioness pulls it off, I will not be surprised. But, it's the year of the Mexican dog.
Yeah. And already, like, the legacy that Nunes has established has been insane, dude. And I know that she's I think there's been maybe some whispers of her maybe hanging it up soon. Like, she might have, like, a certain amount of fights left in her. But, she always comes right. She always comes to compete. And I think that, she's going to come proper in this fight for sure. Yeah. So.
Especially because, she's only one fight off from losing the belt. She definitely knows what she's doing. She's been dominant for so long. But, Lucio, give us your take.
I'm going to have to take Aldana. I feel like Nunes is, she has a baby now. Like, she has distractions. She's probably sat down in bed and just kind of been like, I have enough money. Why am I still fighting? I got people to take care of for the rest of my life. Maybe I should start opening up a business and kind of step away, like a transition from boxing or UFC. Hey, maybe she goes to boxing. No, but like, I don't know. I'm gonna take Aldana. I think I don't know if she has babies or not, but like, I don't know. Like I said, I know Nunes has like a newborn. Maybe she's like 1 or 2 years old. That's a big distraction especially when it comes to being a boxer, being a UFC fighter, being in mixed martial arts. I'm gonna take Aldana.
Not a bad take at all.
So yeah, that's a big fight coming up for the women's featherweight division, right? Bantamweight, sorry.
Yep.
So yeah, we're looking forward to that one, but kind of got some funny news to cover. So
to close out the show with,
yeah. So Adesanya, you know, he was in I guess Australia doing some media and stuff like that. He met with Tyson Fury, but also Pereira was in the same area. And he was meeting with Fury and everything too. There was some pictures released and all that stuff. Yeah. And Izzy is leaving the airport, and who's behind him in TSA check or whatever? Good old Alex Pereira. And you just see Izzy throwing up, you know, his camera, and then you see Pereira in the back, giving him a good old flex. But
I thought you saw Izzy go like this.
Oh, that would be funny.
That'd be fucked up.
But yeah, no, it's just so funny how these guys are just so like intertwined and stuff. Like it just feels like, you know,
that fifth fight's coming.
Yeah, man. It's almost like cartoonish or like out of an
it's happening, Lucio. The fifth fight's happening.
Yeah, it's almost like cartoonish or out of like an anime or something, like these guys' story and stuff like that.
Yes.
But yeah, and both guys, you know, they were lighthearted with it. They, you know, dapped each other up and stuff like that. But yeah, it was just kind of funny to see that, you know, even after the knockout and all that stuff, they were still.
How can you not after 4 fights with the same guy?
Yeah. Yeah, how can you not break bread with someone kind of after you've been through all those wars and, you know, all this talk with each other, you know? I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if like they never fought again.
No, we're getting fight 5.
You think so?
Dude, how can you end it the way it is?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a huge fight. It'll be one of the biggest fights in
we're going to get fight
for
5.
Sure. But yeah, guys, so I think that's all we had to cover today at 10 Ounce Fight Club. So
yes, sir. Thank you, boys. Thank you, Lucio, for being with us.
Yeah, before we head out, let's plug the socials. So we got James. What's your social right there?
Oh, Hatman Jam. Yeah, follow me on Hatman Jam. Follow Moderately Responsible. Follow One Cerveza, please, and follow 10 Ounce Fight Club.
Yes, guys. So have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Kick it to you guys next time.